into our studio. There she is, Jessie James Decker, everybody. One of our final guests in our temporary studio. I know.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's not that cool, Jessie. It's because.
Hey, how are you?
Have you met do you know everybody? Have you seen everybody?
Hi, everybody.
This is Amy.
Hi.
This is
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You know what we didn't talk about? Because Jessie came over to the house, Amy. And by the way, she brought cookies. And I was like, why are you cooking? But you cook. You like to cook, huh?
I cook like every day.
Which is.
Why is that weird? You're about to say that's weird.
Yeah, 'cause
Why?
She's
Busy?
rich.
Oh.
I enjoy cooking, first
Yeah,
of all. And
okay.
second of all, I'm kind of a food snob.
Okay.
So I want the food to be really bomb every time I eat it. And so I want to make sure I don't know, I know what I'm putting in and I know the ingredients. I know they're not slipping weird stuff in there. I don't
And
know.
my point was they were great. And I don't even really eat cookies anymore. I'm trying to keep my girlish figure. Jessie and I both were trying to stay at girlish figures. And I ate the cookies. They were fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
And you really made those, huh?
Yes.
She has a cookbook too,
I made them.
and it was a New York Times. Look at this,
Oh,
New York
wow.
Times bestseller.
Thank
There
you.
it is.
Thank you.
But my point was, I didn't know that you were an Air Force brat,
Yeah.
where you moved around a bunch.
Yeah, my dad is still actually in the Air Force. He is a general, and he's been in
Wow.
it for over 25 years. He's actually overseas right now on some sort of assignment. I'm never allowed to really know what's going down, but
Same thing with Amy. Her husband in the Air Force forever, and you couldn't know what was going on.
No. Well, sometimes I
Sometimes
knew
you
where
can.
he was, but it just depended on the job. Like, it just depends on what's going on. Sometimes I would know, and sometimes he would be like, I'm leaving for 60 days. Don't ask me where.
yeah, and there's things that'll like happen in the news, and I'll be like, oh my God, can you believe that? And my mom will be like, he knew already. Like, he knew a week ago. He can't say. Like, really crazy big things. But I don't know, it's just part of the gig, I guess.
Where did you live growing up since you had to move around?
So we moved a ton, but I would say the Georgia was where I lived the longest. I was there for 7 years. So I started there in 6th grade, and I graduated high school in Georgia. But I went to 3 different schools within that time frame.
Man, and I know what it's like to go to a new school, and it is not fun.
No.
But I think it built a lot of my character, because when you have to go and kind of not only be new, but also learn how to fit in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Those are kind of defining characteristics that I still have.
Don't you feel like it almost makes you like, I don't know, sort of like antisocial, and you have to force yourself to be social?
Amy, would you say I'm antisocial?
Yes.
Yes.
He's very
And I do have to force
antisocial.
myself to be social.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually out of my comfort zone. I think I was probably born to be social, but I think my upbringing made me so antisocial because I always like grew up assuming when I walk into a room that the people in the room are not going to like me. So I've had like my husband really helped me get over that. I'm telling you, like I used to not be able to drive past a school without getting sick to my stomach and feeling like I'm going to throw up. Like, it was that bad.
Like a little bit, you gave me a chill because and I've been to a lot of therapy. I never thought about why I always feel everybody hates me when I walk into a new place.
Yeah.
Because I changed schools a lot. Because we would get evicted or kicked out of places, and I'd have to
Yes.
move to a new school. And nobody likes you as the new kid.
No.
And
Automatically.
that's so fun. Like minor breakthrough, right? Minor
Wow.
breakthrough for
There
me
you
right
go.
now.
Something.
Because I feel that way when I walk into a room. I'm like, oh, no one wants to see me.
That's how I feel. I always assume no one's going to show up for me. Like, every time I go to a show, and my band will tell you here, like, I'm always like, no one's going to be there. No one's going to show up because people wouldn't show up for me. I had a birthday party, and it was a joke around school, make sure no one shows up, and not one person showed up at my sweet 16. And my mom bought this big cake. We didn't have a lot of money either. Just, there's a lot of things that just happened growing up that I think as an adult have made me, I have to really push myself to go out there, and I think people mistaken that as being snobby or not being friendly. It's just, I'm like really like scared on the inside, and my husband's always pushing me in the lower back, being like, go talk to people. Like, people like you. Don't think that they don't.
That's what I need. I need a pusher. Because I had a birthday party. Remember the roller skating party?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell her?
Well, he saved up and rented out the gym.
$25 in my hometown.
And even had roller skates there for people, which was thoughtful. But nobody came.
We went through the
I
same
know.
Yeah,
thing.
it's very
This
similar.
is so
And
weird.
it's still like there's a small part that it still hurts a little bit, like a little thump.
I know. I think about a lot of stuff. I like shouldn't think about like my high school and school days, but I still think about those little mini traumas.
It's what wired us.
I don't know why,
Good or
but
bad,
they
it's
go
what
through them in my
wired us.
mind, and I'm always like, I get still kind of mad about it sometimes. But you know, you can't really help the makeup just how we're made up. That's just, I don't know, the way that it goes, but. There's plenty to be
So
grateful for, but
interesting. Yeah, a lot.
there's so
to be
much.
grateful for.
But I think those little things sometimes drive you to want to be, to want to continue to work really hard.
Do you have a friend? Because I have a friend who's a comedian, But she is the one who's always, I would say positive to be positive, but she has such a great perspective. And I've had a couple of decisions in my life I had to make. And she's like, you need to shut up with worrying and being negative and like, look at what you have. Do you have one of those in your life?
That's my mom.
Yeah.
My mom's completely that way. I'll call her all the time if I'm just having a bad day or I'm like, we'll turn something negative that really probably wasn't negative, and she'll be the one to shake me and be like, this isn't happening. You don't have someone in your family dying. You don't have someone going through this. Imagine not being able to pay for your bills, Jess. Like, imagine all these things. You need to be grateful. Like, you have such a blessed life. Like, she always puts things in perspective, and I just think, you need that, and we do need that. And I think you and I both can agree. We definitely grew up very different from the life we're living today. Like, I'm talking
completely
polar opposite.
So much so that I feel guilty sometimes. Like, when I got a swimming pool, it took me months to feel like I should even put my foot in it, because I was like, in my town, the person that swimming pool, first of all, it was above ground and only one person had one, and you were like, oh my God, Laramie got a swimming pool. That was the big story around town. And I felt so guilty when I got a swimming pool.
Isn't that interesting? I think I go the opposite direction now, where like we were on food stamps at one point growing up, and I remember watching my mom in a McDonald's line, like counting pennies because that was our dinner, and her not being able to feed herself that night. And now I go above and beyond. And like anytime we go through the McDonald's drive-thru, it's like, you want apple pie? You want this? You want that? Like, I go over above and beyond because I'm so happy I can provide for my children now, and we can live that life. Because growing up, I mean, it was like we ran out of food. We didn't have stuff. I didn't realize how like poor we were.
And what's great about that is everybody was also poor around me, so no one really knew. So it was all, for us, it was just pretty normal. Because again, I would go to lunch sometimes, and I would just take a brown paper bag with no food in it, just so people knew I had a lunch.
Oh my God!
But again, I'm very grateful for a lot of the struggle that I went through, because now I'm able to help and give back. Because if it weren't for that and I didn't know, I don't think I could do what I do now and be able to go.
Don't you notice those things now? Like,
Absolutely.
I feel like I notice. There's times where I'm in a grocery store line, and I wait for the moment for someone in front of me that I know is struggling to swipe that card to pay for the groceries, and I want to cover it, because I think about those things now, and I'm always aware because I did grow up like that. So it's you're conscious of it. You're so much more conscious. Eric will be like, when we go to an Olive Garden, he'll like look for a family. He's like, let's cover their bill, just because we just. That's the way you think now because you witnessed it, And
because we were helped, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a big part for me. Jessie James Decker is here. You mentioned your kids. You got a lot of them.
I have 3.
Yeah.
I have 3
You
kids.
got 3 kids. And how good looking and athletic are these kids? These kids are going to kind of be, they're going to do whatever they want. Between the genetics of you and Eric. Like, I want to be your kid.
Oh,
like
my God.
That's what I look at. You'd be answer, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
like, these kids. Come on, they're beautiful children.
They're awesome.
How old's your oldest kid now?
She's 5.
And your youngest is?
1.
Wow.
She has a 1-year-old, and
3 under 5.
And I follow Jessie on Instagram. And you do the South Beach diet thing, and you're in a bikini. And Eric, I hope you don't mind me saying this, right? But Eric, we're good, right? Eric, point at me. You're ripped again. Like, how do I do that?
How do I do it?
Yeah, right. Well, we're all like, how do we get it? What's the secret?
I think that after the kids, I get so determined to just like feel good again. When you get pregnant, you feel like you're kind of, I don't know how other women feel, but I always feel so uncomfortable. I'm 5'1". I'm a teeny person, and I have had 9-pound babies. And so I think I just get so like uncomfortable, and my ankles, I can't work out during my pregnancies at all. They're always so low that I think as soon as I'm done having my babies, I am like in a hurry to feel good again. It's not necessarily look good. Obviously that it doesn't, like, it feels nice to feel like you look good, but I think the energy I want, I'm such an energizer bunny, and I like want to go all the time, that I think it just comes with the territory of working out all the time so I can feel good, that I build muscle really fast. But also, again, I'm 5'1", so if I work out, it shows up faster because I'm smaller. I'm not trying to make excuses, but
I wish I was 5'1".
But I'm saying because I'm smaller.
Bobby, no, you don't. Every
Oh,
day you say
oh,
you're 6'2", and you're not.
Well, listen, I went to the doctor, and I wore tall tennis shoes, and I'm officially listed now as 6'1".
But you're not that
But no,
either.
yes, the doctor said I'm 6'1". And let me say this before, because Jessie, she's a great singer, and we have lots of music stuff to talk about. And I'm gonna bring Eric on in a minute. But Eric, I saw that picture. You with just a cloth over. It was just like you naked. That's what I'm talking about, buddy. Yeah, I told her, I was like,
He's looking good.
I was like, you look. I couldn't stop looking at that one either. What's up with you two?
Bobby's into both of y'all.
Yeah. That's right.
I was
Dang.
proud of my man.
Me too. I mean, yeah. I'm glad you were. Jessie James Decker is here. You put up you know what? You sent me Old Town Road whenever you made it, before you even put it up. And not even as a, hey, will you play this? But I was like, oh, this is so fun. I didn't even tell you I was going to play it. Like, it wasn't like, and I just kind of put it in.
Well, I feel like you'll be honest with me.
I would. Yeah, I will.
Because usually, you are. So I just figured I would just send it to you. But I mean, just to see what you thought. You never went back.
Nothing.
So I was like, he hates it.
Of course not.
And then all of a sudden, a few days later, I'm getting all these tweets and Instagrams of people being like, I heard Old Town Road, Bobby played it. And I was like, that little punk. He didn't even respond. I'm sitting there thinking he thinks this is crap.
I didn't think it was crap. But to be me, I was like, you know what? Let me listen a few times, because that was a risky thing to do, Jessie. Like, to cover a big song that's a bit hip hop-ish. It was bold, but it was really good.
Can I tell you why I liked it so much, though? Is because about 10 years ago, and I got my first record deal. I've had about 4. My first record deal, I went shopping around songs very similar. They were hip hop beats with banjos and fiddles, and it's such a country fusion. Songs I'd written with Jamie Johnson and Randy Houser and John Rich. I mean, they were really in that vein, and I just don't think it was the right time. People were really thrown off by it because it was so different. And I think 10 years later, some of the songs that are now being accepted are so similar to the songs I put out 10 years ago that people were just shunning because they were just so out there. And so when I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of the first record I put out. And I just thought it was really exciting. And so I just wanted to cover it just for fun, to be honest. But I think the response was so great playing it live and from the people around me. I thought, well, why don't I just make this available and just, my cover just to see if people want it. And they did, so it was good.
Yeah, it was good. And I know I didn't respond on purpose. I was like, let me hear this 19 times, and then I just played it.
The Friday Morning Conversation with
Jessie James Decker.
And Eric Decker, her husband's here. Eric, what up, buddy?
What's up? Thanks, Bobby.
He's been sitting over in the corner, and every time I talk to him, he just kind of lowers his head. He's like,
no, I'm loving the compliments.
There
I
you
appreciate you.
Plenty more where that came from, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. Oh, so we're putting whiteboards in front of you.
Okay.
And you guys have been married for how long?
6 years?
Yep.
Did you know that, or did you
Together
look
8?
Oh, by the way, Eric, you know what she told me? Tell me if this version is true.
Oh, Lord.
Because she said that. Was he already in the NFL when you guys started dating? Was he already playing ball?
Yes, but it was during the lockout.
Okay. So she says that you're in the car with her. Like she's like, hey, I got a guy for you should meet. And you're in the car. And you go to her as you're dropping her off at the airport. Jessie, am I right?
Yeah.
So far. And you say, don't lower your head. Don't be embarrassed, Eric. She said, you take out your phone and you go, I just want to date you, and I will delete every girl on my phone if you'll date me.
This is how it went. I told her, yes, I wanted to be exclusive because she was getting hit up that weekend I was in town from a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I'll take all these girls out of my phone if you tell me we're exclusive because I don't want to play this game. And she goes, you asking me to be your girlfriend? I was like, no, I want you to just be with me.
And what did
no
I
one else.
respond, Eric?
I remember.
Oh, of course. I said, we just met, so I'm gonna need
She
to
played
I'm gonna need
so
some
hard,
time
dude.
on that.
I was like chasing like crazy. First time in my life.
Were dudes hitting you up pretty hard, though, while you were with him?
It was so crazy. It's like, I'm telling you, and I think girls can relate to this, when you get off the market slightly, it's like all the men that were kind of wanting you, they smell it out, and all of a sudden they're jumping back on you. They know. So all of a sudden, I have this guy in town, and we're spending this weekend together, and 6 dudes that I just kind of had hanging, all of a sudden are hitting up wanting to fly me out, let's hang out, just all these different dudes. And some of them are names that he recognized. And so he was very it made him mad. He gets really heated. I remember you threw my hand away when we were holding hands when my phone started ringing. I know.
Man, okay. Well, let's try this. Listen, before you two get into it again.
8 years later.
8 years later. Things are okay.
Jessie James Decker, Eric Decker, they're here. And we're going to play, actually, the match game. So you guys have whiteboards. Do not look at what each other's writing. I'll ask you a question. Write down the answer, and we'll see if they match. All right? Number 1. If you're somewhere and they're playing your song, what's that song? Like if they're playing your song as a couple.
Ooh.
Oh, our song is a couple?
Yeah, like your song as a couple. Like you're like, oh, this is our song.
Yeah.
Like, now don't look at each other when you're writing. Eric, I need you to hide your board a little bit better than that. There you go. So they're like, oh, baby, this is our song. What is that song? They're both writing it down.
We might have 2 of them.
All right. Jessie, let me see yours. She answered Wild Horses. Eric wrote Wonderwall.
We've danced to both of those songs at our wedding. Damn it, babe.
Okay. Well, that's no point. She went like
2
Rolling
great songs,
Stones,
though.
and you
I
went
know.
Oasis.
We danced
Yeah,
to that,
Oasis.
and I walked down the aisle to this.
I know.
God, okay.
Okay, zero. Okay, let's go to question number 2 here. What is Eric's favorite color? Okay, right there. What is Eric's favorite color? All right, Jessie, let me see yours. Blue. Eric, blue. We got it, man. We got
We're on
one
the
finally. All right. Hey, Eric, I'm going to ask, this is a question about Jessie.
Yep.
What is, and both of you guys can write it down, what is Jessie's shoe size?
What? It changes.
Oh.
No, I need
it
one answer.
changes.
One answer.
One
Well, it depends
answer.
on heels or shoes.
Oh.
Okay, heel size.
Heel
What
size?
is her heel
I'm writing
size?
both of them.
Okay. Eric says 7. Jessie says 7. Oh, we got another
Yes.
one. We got another one here.
Wow,
Good.
he knew right when you said heels. He knew 7.
All right.
I have bunions,
Oh.
so I need the wide.
Who was Eric's?
I don't think she needs to know
Well,
that.
Bobby just ignores that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Yep."
Moving on. Who was Eric's celebrity crush growing up?
Oh. Well, now we're.
Growing up as a
He
kid,
has so many.
who was your
Oh,
who was
well,
your number
and
one
now.
celebrity?
I mean,
Unless it's
You're
same.
curious.
But you're like,
Do now? We'll do now.
go ahead.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I really
Okay,
have
celebrity
growing up.
crush now. Eric's writing down my name. This is awesome.
Hold on.
She's still
Hold
writing.
Jessie, she writes down Jessica Alba or Jennifer Aniston. And Eric wrote Jessica Alba and Bobby Bones. I'll take them both. That is a great answer. Okay, you guys do know each other pretty good. All right, let's do one more.
Okay.
What was Jessie's first job?
Ooh.
Ooh, is it that or
What was
that?
Jessie's first job?
Well, this one's funny, so I'll put it up there. I know it's not her first, but I'm going to call her out.
Jessie's still writing. Jessie writes peanut sweeper, and Eric writes peanut sweeper. Jessie, what, did you work at like a restaurant where they threw peanuts on the ground?
Yeah, I worked at Texas Roadhouse.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I was the hostess, but I was so terrible at that, they gave me a broom and just made me sweep up the peanuts.
How funny is that?
I would forget where to put them. I couldn't memorize all the table numbers, so I just gave up. And I was always in the back eating the rolls, basket of rolls.
But
Oh, they're the
weren't
best
I
rolls.
gained
Yeah.
like 6
Yeah.
pounds
Weren't
working
they
there.
the
I had to quit.
One more question. I found one more good one. What's the oddest location you've ever kissed? The oddest not on the body, but like place. So the oddest location you've ever shared a kiss.
Oh, yeah.
The oddest location you've ever shared a kiss. Jessie James Decker, Eric Decker in studio, matching it up here. Eric's writing his answer down.
Oh, all right.
Jessie's thinking.
I'm not. You're not going to write this down either, but.
And they're fighting, and we're back to the fight. All right, we're.
Okay.
All right. Jessie says couples massage room when
When they leave.
when you ear.
When the massage leaves. When the masseuse
Oh, when
leaves
the
the
masseuse
room.
leave. Okay.
It's
And
kind of
then
intimate, though.
Eric writes the kids' bedroom.
Yeah, that is.
Well, listen, I think you guys did well enough to stay together. You should stay married. There we go.
Thank you.
We passed the test.
There we have it.
This is the ultimate test. Now you know.
Yeah.
Jesse, a real treat. You know how Jesse and I really got to know each other was doing Miss America together. No, Miss USA. It's one of the two.
One of those pageants.
I think it was Miss.
A pageant.
You know what was it? Miss America.
America.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it was Miss
of course.
Yes, love that one.
We both judged together. We judged together, and let me tell you, the weirdest thing was that we actually had the say. Like our votes counted.
Oh, absolutely.
It was. I couldn't believe they let us pick Miss America. I was like, "What? You're bringing us in to kind of be funny and say some stuff on camera?"
It
No,
was for real.
our votes picked Miss America, and we were like, "Can you believe this?"
I know.
Yeah, I was also shocked.
That whole thing was a very interesting experience.
Yeah, we had to go to like an 8-hour class.
We had to sit there and run through. They were so hardcore.
Yeah,
They
it's
did not
hardcore.
mess around.
It's hardcore. Like
Who won?
Miss New York.
New York.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Did you
Okay.
get a little thank you note from her?
No, I mean, yeah,
Oh.
of course. Who didn't?
It was
no,
so sweet.
I
Oh.
didn't get a thank you note. That was.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah. Okay.
It would have been nice to get a thank you note. Is what
She
I was
obviously didn't think you voted for her.
All right.
I did. Yeah. I didn't. I asked Miss Florida a question. I think about it. Did you ask a question?
I did.
there only like a couple of us got to ask a question.
Can I tell you what was weird? And I know we got to close this out.
Go ahead.
What was weird is I felt like the setup of it was strange because we were like their topics were something else, and then my question that we had asked in a room like a gajillion hours earlier made absolutely no sense.
What was your question?
It was like, what would you say to dads that don't want to be involved in their kids' lives? When we were talking about something completely different. But in the room, when they were asking questions, it was like we had to write down it was about that topic.
It made sense in context of
in
the room,
context
but not
of the
on
room,
the show.
but then on the show, it's like that. Why? That has nothing to do with what she was like. Just talking about world peace, and now we're bringing in dads. Like this doesn't even make any sense. It was just strange.
Do you know? I remember my question. You
What
probably
was it?
don't. Mine was, how awesome is Eric Decker? That was my question. Yeah, it was a
I
great
remember
question
that.
on
That
Miss
was good.
America.
That
yeah,
was good.
yeah. And she was like, awesome, and I was like, you win. And
I'm
then we
happy
gave
I
her
came
the
this
crown.
morning.
Yes. All right, Jessie. You know, I think you're fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm glad we could finally get you in here. And,
I appreciate you so much.
And Jessie's a big American Idol fan. I guess both of you guys.
I
watch
love
it.
it. Can I
You
please
crushed
just
it.
sit in the audience next time you're on?
Well,
Just
you
let
can
me
come
sit
every
there.
time. You can
I love it.
sit
Every
beside me.
time.
I get so invested.
She'll text me and she'll be like, this person's great. Or like Lacey K. Booth was one of my favorites. Me too. And so like I like connected her and Lacey. It was.
I sent her
Oh,
some
that's fun.
kittenish clothes. She
Yeah.
wore it on the show, which was so nice. It was like she was just a doll. She was a living doll.
Yeah,
but
she'll be when she comes to town. She's gonna be good.
I think so too.
Eric, anything you'd like to say and end it? What team do you associate yourself with though? Like if people say you got a team, what is it? Denver?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
That
I
was
don't
kind of the
know.
glory.
Oh, are you
the
switching
glory
it?
days.
What do you say, Jessie?
I think Jets. I like connect him with the Jets.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
I say Jets, and I know
You do?
nothing, but that's what I think. So
I think Jets.
I would
I
say,
love New York too. So yeah,
I would say
I'm all
Den-
about the
I would say
Jets. Jets.
I would say Denver. In my mind, I would
Yeah.
say Denver though.
That's kind of what I associate with.
And me too. I also think I'm a Bronco.
Yeah.
A guy I never played with them, but Peyton Manning's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, well, she'd be my friend too. I'll tell you what. I'll trade you one Eric and her guitar player for one Peyton Manning. Can we make that? Can we do like a transaction here? I love you, but pass Peyton Manning. That'd be cool. Huh?
I'll work on it.
Peyton's
All right.
See
really
what I can do
awesome.
for you.
All right, listen. We've had fun. We're gonna have you back.
I'd love
Put
that.
out a bunch of music.
I am.
Next time you get it ready, you let me know. You come back in here. We'll do it again.
Okay.
And this time, we won't bring Eric because he stole. Listen, he stole too much of this.
I know.
spotlight
He
tonight.
does it
I know.
every
I
time.
was just man crushing
he
the
does
whole
it
time.
every time.
All right,
Okay.
Jessie James
Yeah,
Decker,
yeah.
everybody.
Thank y'all
All right,
so
we'll come back
much.
in 1 second. Thank you.
It's a Bobby Bones show.